Welcome to Dining Delights. We're excited to share our passion for cooking and teach you how to make fantastic meals for your family and friends. These meals are going to be very impressive. We're going to teach you some basic culinary skills, tips and tricks, along with some easy to follow recipes, and the food you make is absolutely going to be fantastic. So our first menu we're going to do starting today is a steak au poivre, which is a steak with peppercorns. We're also going to do a Poivre potato. In French, Poivre means paver, so it's going to look like a little square paver potato. And then we're going to top it off with a cognac peppercorn sauce that is going to be absolutely fantastic. We're even going to flambe the cognac and make a nice fire and have some fun with that. But first thing we need to do is let's get down to business and start on our potatoes. Now, I have 3 potatoes here that I have peeled. These are russet potatoes, and all I did was peel them and put them in some water so they did not start to turn brown and oxidize. What we need to do is kind of dry one of these off, and we're going to square them off because we want a nice square shape for our Poivre potatoes. So we're going to start just squaring this potato off, just like this. And we want to make it similar to about a stick of butter is what I would kind of relate it to. We'll cut the ends off and we have a nice squared off piece. Now we can do multiple ones or just do this one to start with, but essentially we want to get nice fine cuts, so it's going to be a nice thin layer. To do that, we're going to use one of my favorite tools. This is a mandolin. Mandolin is very nice for making nice thin cuts. However, it is extremely sharp, and if you do not use it safely, it can turn around and bite you, and we don't want anybody to get hurt, so we're going to show you the right way to do it. I use a cut glove number 1. We also have a food holder that will hold it. So in order to do this, I'm going to use my food holder between my hand and the blade, and I'm going to go down, and I'm just going to keep making these nice long strips. And you'll notice I'm going the long direction with the potato. That is so we have that nice long piece to build our Poivre potatoes with. So what we're going to do is make sure and get all of our potatoes nice and thin strips like this, and then we are going to put them in this bowl, and we're going to start with some heavy cream, just like this. And this is heavy whipping cream, 40% fat, big pinch of salt, and a big pinch of pepper. Now we'll take our cut glove off, and we're going to actually stir these together like this. And we want them to get all nice and coated. Now, because I was working a little bit ahead of schedule and I wanted you to see the whole process, I will show you now that some of these extra ones we pre-made for you. We're going to toss those in so we have just enough to actually fill our pan. But we want to make sure, again, they're all completely coated in this mixture. This will help them so they do not oxidize. It's also going to add a delicious, rich flavor to the potatoes, and they're just going to absolutely be fantastic. And we'll set this aside while we prepare our pan. And this is really easy, but it is kind of tricky. It does kind of take a little bit of work to get this pan all prepared. I have a paper towel, and I'm going to take some butter, and this butter's softened. So we're going to take that softened butter, and we're going to go all the way around bottom and sides of the pan, all the way around. We want to make sure that it's well coated. We don't want any of this to stick. It does have quite a bit of fat in it, so it does tend to make a nice crust on the sides and doesn't always stick everywhere, but we want to make sure we don't get any sticky. So you can see we have it nice and oiled. Now, I cut some strips of parchment paper. I have one to go the long direction and one to go the shorter direction. So what we're going to do is start with this long one, and we're going to lay it right in, and that butter should help it stick right down to the pan. And we want to have these nice little flaps over. That's going to help us get it out of the pan when it's all ready to cut and make our potatoes. And we're going to go this direction for the shorter side. Going to get that stuck right on there. Fold it down again just like this. And of course, you have a little bit of stuff sticking out. Okay, just like that. Now, we're going to take our potatoes, and you can see we're going to start layering them. And we're going to layer one layer along one side with slight overlaps. So we have slight overlaps, and then on the bottom, we will put one going the other direction. And we're going to layer these until we get a couple of layers, and you don't have to necessarily do them one at a time, but you do want to get them nice and layered evenly, just like this. Now, here is the real trick, and here is what will add that extra delicious flavor to your potatoes. We're going to take dollops of butter and put them right in, just like that. And then in this little dish, we have duck fat. Duck fat adds a nice umami flavor to things. It also is very good at helping things crisp, so the edges of these potatoes will get more crispy by adding this duck fat, and we're just going to drizzle some right in there, get that extra flavor. And then the most important thing, we still need more salt and pepper in between each layer. And we're going to do this 4 times. So once you have your layers 4 times, okay, now we have our 4 layers, and what we're going to do is very carefully layer our parchment paper over like this and fold it into the pan. Once it is folded into the pan, we are going to cover this pan with some aluminum foil. Okay, we want to make a nice tight seal because we want these potatoes to cook and get lots of steam and not dry out. So what we're going to do is put these in the oven at 350 degrees for 1 hour and 50 minutes. So 1 hour, 50 minutes. Our hour and 50 minutes is up. We're going to pull our potatoes out, just like this, lay them on a nice baking sheet. Now, we're going to open the paper, or aluminum foil, just a touch, so we can start to press it, and it's kind of hot, so be careful, into the potatoes like this. And we're going to lay the foil off to the side. Then we are going to take another pan and set it right on top and press it down firmly against the potatoes. We're going to let that sit and cool for about 45 minutes. Okay, now that our potatoes are cool, we're going to actually weight them down and start to compress them. So what I'm going to do is put some of these cans in there. They're going to get nice and firm. And at this point, we're going to take this, set it right on our baking sheet, and we're going to go right to the fridge with it overnight or a minimum of 6 hours. Okay, now pull these out. They've sat out overnight. We're going to take our little weights off here, and we're going to take our pan and look at it. You can see the folded up parchment paper, and we need to lightly go around the sides with a pie scraper, or you can use any type of sharp blade. Sometimes it does take something like a paring knife or something to go around the edges, but it should start to come out just like this. Okay, just like that. And let me show you how this looks. We will undo our parchment paper, and you will see a nice big kind of a potato brick, the beginning of pave potatoes. So what we will do is tear some of this off around the sides, and we are going to start in the middle and cut a section apart just like this, and one more. We're going to cut this in about 3/4 inch pieces, and you should get 8 of them in this particular loaf pan. And you can see they're all kind of compressed and stuck nicely together. Now we'll get them off the parchment paper. Okay. And we want to see those beautiful layers just like that. Nice thin layers of potato. And we're going to set them on a plate, and we will actually fry these in just a minute and get them nice and golden brown. They are a little bit sticky, so be patient. You don't want them to fall apart. The tighter you can keep them, the better off that they will be once they get into the hot saute pan with some good oil and start to brown. Okay. And these other two we'll save for later. So there we are, and we will get back to these in just a minute. Welcome back. Now it's time for the steak au poivre part of our meal. And steak au poivre means with pepper, so we are obviously going to use a lot of pepper into our steak. We also need pepper for our peppercorn sauce. Now, I have a mortar and pestle here, and I have some multiple colored peppercorns. I love multicolored peppercorns. They're absolutely delicious. I'm going to just kind of grind these up slowly. I just want to break them apart. Breaking apart peppercorns opens it up, starts to give a lot of extra surface area. When that surface area gets warm, that's what releases that delicious oil. So that nice pepper oil will release just perfectly into our steaks as well as our sauce. Having a few whole ones is okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I consider this to be cracked pepper once they're just kind of broken up a little bit. By the way, if you don't have a mortar and pestle, all you need to do, put your peppercorns in a Ziploc like this, and you just put them at the bottom and mash it like this with a rolling pin. Absolutely works fantastic and is a much more simplified version, and it enables you to do the same thing and get the same result without having to purchase this extra tool. Okay, it looks like we have some nice peppercorns here. We're going to put them right back into the little dish here. Now, these are fillets cut from the tenderloin. These are center cut. What I'm going to do is season them first. I want a little bit of salt on the top, just like that. Then we're going to take some of our peppercorns and we're going to push some right on the top of each one. Okay, and then we want to start pressing them in. And what I do is kind of press and separate. I think it's important to get them nice and pressed in there, just on this side. And it doesn't have to be perfect. They don't have to have a ton, but we do want some to cook on there to give that added flavor. The rest will go right into our sauce. Now, this is kind of an unusual ingredient. This is coffee grounds. These are grounds perfectly powdered, almost to the point of what flour is, to that fine. And we're just gonna sprinkle some onto our steak. Pepper actually helps enhance the flavor of the meat and gives it a little bit more umami flavor. Now, we're gonna get our pan hot here, and we are going to sear these off so we have a base flavor profile for our sauce. So let's get our pan going, and we'll get some oil in there and we'll get cooking. Okay, our pan's nice and hot. We're gonna add some oil here, and you'll see that oil starting to get shimmery, shiny. As soon as it looks like it's shimmery and shiny, looks like it's taken on a life of its own, that's when we're gonna go in with our steak. Listen to that sizzle. That's what we want right there. Now, we're gonna finish these steaks in the oven. So all we're gonna do is get a nice crust on them, and we're gonna put them right onto our baking sheet, pop them in the oven, and then we'll move forward with the rest of our recipe. Okay, we're gonna get these turned over now. Looks like we're starting to get a nice crust, just like that. And also, since we didn't really season the bottom of this steak, we're gonna season it now. We wanna get lots of salt. Really cover it with salt. It takes a lot of salt to get through all that large sized beef we have. And then I'm just gonna give it a little bit of extra regular pepper. This is still fresh ground, but a little bit smaller just to top them on there. And we're gonna let these go for, just a minute or so till we can get a nice crust on them, and then we'll put them right in the oven. While they're finishing cooking, I wanna tell you a little trick too. This is one of my favorite things to do is, while I am going to put those in the oven, I have some nice thin pieces of asparagus here. I'm gonna lay those right on the same baking rack that I'm cooking the steaks in, because they'll go in for, about 7 or 8 minutes to finish that. So I just do a little drizzle of olive oil like this, top them with some salt and pepper, and just like that, we'll be able to add another addition to our meal without any additional effort, and it actually looks really pretty on the plate and adds some nice nutritional value to the meal with the green vegetables. Our steaks look nice. I'm gonna lay them right down, just like that. And we're gonna go right to the oven with them. Now, while our pan's still hot, you can see that nice buildup of fond, that brown bits at the bottom. Fond means in French is base. That is the base of our sauce. But I have something special here. These are morel mushrooms. They're typically only grown in the spring. And my parents actually found them at a farmer's market. And we're gonna actually put those in our sauce today too, or at least on the side so we have something extra delicious. And for a morel, I just cut the little stem off. They are completely edible, but I do like to take them off because they do get a little tough. And then just cut it right in half and then right into the bowl. And we're just gonna go right into that hot pan. A little bit of salt and pepper. We're just going to stir those around for a minute. And they will absorb some of that flavor from the beef, as well as add their own flavor to the pan, which will go into our sauce too. And we're just going to let those cook. They take about 3 or 4 minutes is all. Now, because these are wild, I wouldn't recommend ever eating them raw. You want to always cook them. You want to get that extra help just to make sure if anything is in there that was in the wild. I did a good job of cleaning them. I go through them to make sure there's nothing in them and then wash them really well. But you want to make sure that, they're good. And these are actually starting to get nice and soft now. So we're going to pull those right out onto a plate and be ready to serve with our steak. Then we're going to go into our pan with some butter and we're going to start building our sauce. Going to push that butter around. And that butter is going to kind of give us a little bit of extra liquid inside that pan to start releasing that fond. You'll see you can get that butter, just start scraping and that fond will come right off. Then we're going to go in with some shallots, just like that. And the pan's a little warm, that butter's starting to brown. We don't want to overdo our shallots, but we want to get some good flavor out. Then we're going to add some garlic. Now, garlic's a tricky one. We're only going to go in for just a short period of time with the garlic. We don't want the garlic to burn, and it does burn very easily. So we want to make sure that it's just in there for a few seconds, being pushed around, always moving. We want the oils to release from the heat, but we don't want any of the burnt garlic. Now comes my favorite part. We're going to actually flambe this pan out and get some of that flavor out and kind of reduce our cognac. Here is cognac here. I'm going to turn the flame off on the stove. I'm going to add our cognac like this and ignite it with a lighter. Boom. Anytime you are flambeing anything, it is important to, safety is number one. Never pour it over a lit flame. Always take the pan or turn the flame off or remove the pan from the heat. I prefer to use a lighter to ignite it instead of the heat from the stove, just for safety's sake. And what this is going to do is reduce that cognac and cook the alcohol flavor out of it, but that cognac flavor is going to remain. Cognac is actually made from grapes that are grown in the Cognac region in France. Very traditional grapes for cooking and drinking. Cognac is a distilled type of a liquor, kind of like taking wine and distilling it and making it more high alcohol and a little bit stronger, but very delicious. Okay, now we're going to go in with heavy cream and a big pinch of salt, big pinch of pepper. This is a pepper sauce after all. And the most important thing while we're letting it simmer, we need to add those peppercorns. Make sure the heat goes back on. And we're going to simmer this just until it is starting to thicken and becomes what in French is called nappe, which means coats the back of a spoon. And we're going to reduce it down until it's nice and thick, ready to make a delicious sauce. Okay, we're going to get our potatoes ready. This pan is super hot, you can see. We're going to get that oil in there, and you'll notice that oil is starting to shimmer right away. So we want a good layer of oil to put these potatoes in. I went ahead and patted them dry before I put them in, and I'm just going to drop them right in the oil like that. You'll hear that nice hit. Okay, just like that. We're just going to let these brown. They're already cooked through. They're going to brown and warm through. And as soon as we get those nice and brown, we'll be ready to start plating. And we'll get everything on our plate for our delicious meal today. Okay, let's get our steaks out of the oven. Oh, and they look beautiful. Go ahead and get some temperature on them. Very nice, 130 degrees for medium rare. Perfect, they'll rise right up to 135. We're going to turn our potatoes over here. And you'll be able to see that nice brown color. That's it. And that's what we're looking for. You can see they look like a beautiful paver. And while we're finishing browning that side, we can go ahead and start to plate up. And get some of our asparagus here on the bottom. And see how beautiful those asparagus look. Nice and al dente. We're going to layer some of our sauce right on one side of that plate like that. We will take our filet mignon with our peppercorn right in the middle. Add some of these delicious morels for that nutty umami flavor. And then now, of course, we need to get that beautiful Poivre potato out and right on the plate with it. Just like that. And we'll top it with some fancy microgreens. Thank you for watching today. It's been a pleasure cooking with you. All of these recipes, the steak au poivre, the Poivre potatoes, and the cognac peppercorn sauce are all available at cookwithchefchris.com, along with a lot of other recipes. So I look forward to cooking with you again. Thank you, and have a good day.